Mr. Takai?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, and thank you, distinguished panel of commissioners. I appreciate your work. It's been said before, but the services have been able to meet and exceed their recruitment and retention goals over the last 13 years while in war. With our current compensation system in place, I'm assuming we're here today because there's now a need, or it's the right time to take a look at this and to change it, despite the fact that we've been successful in maintaining a significant, viable, all-voluntary force. So my question to you is, what are the impacts of your recommendations, changes to the future of this all-volunteer force in terms of recruitment and retention, and how were these impacts assessed?
Thank you, Congressman, for your question. Congressman, we believe that, and we believe this unanimously, that the recommendations that we've made are going to have a very positive effect on recruiting and retention. We've taken a look at what service members have told us that they want, what the senior enlisted advisors, as we've talked to people across the country, they've been completely making us aware of the fact that things that they want, that they prefer, are very different than what they were before. Because one, there's a total different generation here. The contemporary workforce is changing, the environment is changing. The very people that we would be interested in recruiting and retaining in the military are the same kind of people that industry are looking at. And so we wanted to make sure that we can provide benefits and meet the preferences that they've told us that they were concerned about, so that we can compete against the industry for the same people. Commissioner Corelli, Commissioner Giambastiani, would you like to add to that?
Yeah, if I could just, thank you, Mr. Chairman. If I could just add that if I go back and look at our transition from the draft era to the all-volunteer force, many thought that that would not work. I was a submarine officer who was serving and was sent to Navy Recruiting Command as a recruiter and on the staff there back in 1975 to help make that work. And I have to tell you that we've looked, and the reason why I give you this perspective is there were a lot of people who thought it wouldn't work. What we have looked at here is 350 personnel programs that we provided you in this interim report before, and yet we've only made 15 general recommendations, which I think are important. We looked at 350 separate programs across healthcare, quality of life, everything else, and we've made 15 recommendations. And behind those 15 recommendations are substantive surveys, as we've already mentioned, studies, and analysis. And all of that is referenced in footnotes and the rest in here. We've talked to a significant amount of people. We've talked to the personnel people, the personnel chiefs in the services. We've tried to use the extensive experience of us 9 commissioners. And I think we have looked at how this impacts and how we assessed that we would have a positive impact. And we try to say the positive impacts that we would bring by the value of these programs in here. So that's a general answer, but I would just give you some historical perspective.
Thank you. And I do appreciate the long, hard look that the Commission has done in regards to Guard and Reserve members, drill status Guard and Reserve members, and determining that the traditional methodology still works. So I appreciate that. My last question is in regards to TRICARE. As a former member of TRICARE, I do understand the challenges that we have facing us in terms of the number of providers accessible for TRICARE. Everything you say about this new program sounds good, but to me it just sounds like it's going to cost a lot more money because increased provider pay and other things. Can you just elaborate a little bit on what the cost is going to be, or if in fact there are savings and what specifically they are? And now that I'm short of time, maybe if you could just prepare a response to us. And
yes, we'll take that for the record and get back to you, Congress.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Chair. I yield back.
Thank you. Dr. Winstrup.